This episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. The new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLTS20 for 20% off plus free shipping today. This week on the Heart of the Golts YouTube show, we sit down with musician/songwriter Grace Leer. In today's Walk the Line episode, Grace gives us an amazing performance of her latest single, Wine and Whiskey. Let's check out the episode. We are in the Heart of the Gulch. I'm your host, Tony Mendoza, and today I'm very excited. So my guest is not only an actress, not only a D1 athlete, we got an amazing musician. We got the one and only Grace Leer in the building. What's going on?
What's up? I'm happy to be here.
Dude, first of all, congratulations on just the year so far.
Thank you.
My gosh, you just released Wine and Whiskey.
Yep.
Talk to me about it.
Wine and Whiskey. Yeah, it's my first independent release. So I'm really proud of that. It's since getting out of my label deal, and I'm out on my own now. So it feels good. And that song specifically, I've loved since the day I wrote it with Jason Signs, Ben Caver, Sarah Hayes. And the idea came to me after a girls' night, and walked into the session the next day and had this idea of wine and whiskey and mixing this, just like these things that are, you like them in the moment, but they're bad for you, and they don't go well together, and kind of reminded me of a toxic relationship. And we wrote Wine and Whiskey, and it's out now. And I'm so excited.
That's awesome. I think about all the times I've tried wine and whiskey, and sometimes I love wine and I love red wine. I'm not sure. Are you the same way?
Love red wine.
Okay, so
big red wine gal.
But I'm also a bourbon drinker, a whiskey guy. So there'll be a lot of times where I'll start with wine and with whiskey.
Okay.
Never leads to a great morning.
No.
Now, going to your song, Wine and Whiskey, I want to ask you a few questions, scenarios, and I want you to gauge if it's a wine or a whiskey situation, okay?
Okay.
Now, you can go even deeper into the lore and say what type of wine.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you a scenario, okay?
Okay.
So for the first one, I'm going to say girls' night out. What are you drinking?
Wine.
Which kind of wine?
Girls' night out. Red wine.
Okay. After a breakup.
For me, honestly, red wine. Probably a very bold cab.
After a writer's round.
After a writer's round. It has to be wine or whiskey.
It has to be wine or whiskey.
After a writer's round? Maybe, I could do an old fashioned after a writer's round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about date night after dinner?
Wine.
Yeah? My gosh, you are...
I'm a big wine drinker. I would say I'm more wine than whiskey. And that's why the girl in the song is actually the wine drinker, and the guy's the bourbon drinker. And it's kind of she's this pretty elegant, the line is, and I leave a pretty taste in your mouth and you burn me all the way down. And it's like, he's this kind of bold, burning fire, and she's this pretty elegant, bold red wine, or any kind of wine. So
speaking of going deeper into the background of wine.
Yeah.
Since you're a wine drinker, is there a certain type of wine that you like? And is it a United States? Is it outside of the United States? What do you like in wine?
So I'm from California. So I started drinking wine in California. When I turned 21, my mom took me to Napa. So I was very spoiled with my introduction to wine. But yeah, so red, any bold cab, probably. I love. Some of the wineries that I've loved in Napa have been like Stag's Leap. I just got to have a really bougie tasting. My boyfriend brought me to Napa for my birthday, and we went to we went to Bond, like probably the most bougie wine tasting experience I've had. But I feel like I've grown like a pretty good palate for red wine specifically. But I love, like, now that it's summertime or it's getting to be spring and summer in Nashville, give me like a crisp Sauv Blanc or like a sparkling rosé. I love it.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
So my girlfriend, Lauren, is actually from Modesto.
Oh, nice.
And, they were talking about this because when I told them that you're coming here, at this point, Lauren doesn't get fazed by people that come into the studio. She was actually really fazed about you. She's sad she wasn't here right now because when they were going through, obviously, COVID and everything happened in 2020, everyone was kind of sat in their place. And everyone was rooting for you when it came to American Idol.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
But I'm sure you know Modesto, right?
Oh, I do. I had soccer tournaments in Modesto. Yeah.
Man, you're teeing it all up for me. Okay, hold on. So prior to, going outside of Nashville, and we were talking about a little bit earlier how important athletics is in your life. And, kind of walk me through what was your first time doing athletics. Was it always soccer or did you play multi-sports?
Yeah, so sports, oh my gosh. Well, I started playing soccer when I was around the same time I started singing. So like 6 or 7, like 6 years old, I did my first talent show at my elementary school, Greenbrook Elementary. And shout out, Danville, California. And I caught the bug right away on stage. And then at the same time, I started playing soccer and caught the soccer bug, like just loved running around, loved being a part of a team, loved scoring goals. That was like, and that's still something I do in my rec soccer league in Nashville. I just want to score goals every time I play. And so around the same time, I have these two loves of soccer and singing. And I think, so it was right around the same time, and then I started to play competitive soccer when I was 9 or 10 years old. I played on my first, I don't know, they call it the top team now. At that time it was called Alcafodio.
Okay.
Remember the Alcafodio
I do remember
days?
the
That's
ranks.
what it was called. Yeah. So I started playing super competitive at age 10. And then at age 10 is when I did American Juniors. So at the same time I was chasing these music dreams and going on this national television show to chase this music dream. And then at the same time, I'm trying to win a state cup championship with my team. And I'm feeling really bad missing out on games and these big moments with my soccer team. But I don't know, it was just these two passions that I had. They were both very similar in the way that I did them at 100%. But I always knew music was going to be forever. And soccer had a timeline.
Well, you know what? First of all, you're absolutely right. Athletes, we can be the best athletes as we get up there in age. Something just happens to our bodies. We're not as quick, and a lot of other things. But,
I'm still quick.
Yeah, I believe you.
I'm still super fast.
You are already starting to prove my point here. I wanted to know this. So when it comes to musicians and athletes, which one do you think has the tougher mindset?
Musicians or athletes? Athletes.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Why would you say so?
I don't know. Well, it depends on what you mean by a tougher mindset. I think both industries, and that's why I think having a sports background and then going into the music industry, there's so many correlations and similarities, and it prepares you so well for the music industry. But man, the music industry is tough too. And I think it just takes that that work ethic, I think, is taught in an athlete at a very young age. At 10 years old, I was learning. You were making fun of me for being really early today. I was taught at a very young age, if you're on time, you're late. That was something that was taught to me. We had goals immediately at 10 years old. I had to get 100 juggles on my feet to be considered a starter. I'm 10. And these are getting ingrained in me at a very young age to work hard, to show up, to be prepared, and to give it 100% and to leave everything on the field. And I think the same way in a musician, you want to go out there and you only have, maybe you have a 10-minute set, maybe you have an hour, 90 minutes, maybe you're playing for 3 people or an arena, but you have to give your all in that time that you're given. And so I don't know. I think I immediately said an athlete has a stronger mentality or a tougher mentality, but I think they're just different.
It's amazing to me because there's just so much work that goes into being an athlete, and there's even more work being a musician and making a professional musician.
Absolutely.
I'm just seeing if you see those similarities there.
I absolutely see the similarities. And we just all want to win. And that's, and then at the same time, being in music now, I see we call them a team. Your label, if you have it, label, publisher, manager, agency, business manager, wardrobe stylist, hair and makeup, that's your team.
All different skill sets.
And different positions. And the way I describe it is if everybody plays their position correctly, we're going to win. And everybody plays their position and does their role 100% and gives everything they have. That was the same way when I was captain at Cal Berkeley, when I was a coach after I graduated, was every single person has to give everything they have. And we're going to win. If there's a game where that defender's off or just having an off game or just not into it or just that forward missed that breakaway goal, it's the same way in the music industry. If that manager's not on top of it, if that agency isn't doing the right thing to get you that festival or that show or that opening slot, we're not going to win. And so I see my team in that same way, and that comes from my sports background. I don't know if I would see it that same way if I didn't have my sports background.
I love that. You went deep into it, and that's what I wanted to get to. Now, you kind of quickly said, doing, at 6 years old, playing music and just doing music out in events, right?
Yeah.
I think you said it was an audition.
Yeah.
What did you sing then?
Oh, wait, at 6?
At 6.
Oh, my talent show?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first performance ever on stage, other than annoying my siblings and my family wanting to put on shows in our living room, my first talent show was I was 6 years old, and I sang Dreaming of You by Selena. I was obsessed with Selena, and even learned like all of her songs in Spanish too. And I sang that on stage, and I had no idea what to do with my hands, and I just had this, I was, so tiny, and I had this big microphone in front of me, and I just fell in love. I still, to this day, get the same butterflies. Any performance I have at 33 years old, I get those same butterflies I had at 6 years old. It's crazy. And I just remember being like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. But it wasn't until that same talent show when I was in 3rd grade, I sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, because at that point I was obsessed with Wizard of Oz, and sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And that point was when my parents were like, oh, she has a voice there, like something's there and she loves it. Let's get her into voice lessons. So that's when I really started like honing in on my craft and going to voice lessons every week and signing up for like little local, talent shows and learning how to be on stage and put on a show. And then I did American Juniors, and that was like my first TV reality show competition.
Well, speaking of which, you talked about Selena. I'm from South Texas, San Antonio, Texas, really close to Corpus Christi.
Yep.
And real quick, if I can, you asked me why I gave you these sunglasses.
Yeah.
Now, I had the opportunity literally last year, to sing a song with Emily Ann Roberts.
Okay.
Now, I sang a song with The Voice, but I never sang a song with someone from American Idol. You mind putting these on and let's try this? Tag team the song?
Sure.
Let's do it.
What song are we going to sing? Oh my gosh.
Let me know when you're ready. Now we'll tag team it. I'll set you up, okay? Every time I point at you, we'll get ready to go. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. You're recording there. Let's do this.
What song are we doing? Oh my God, this is going to make me cry. I'm glad I have these sunglasses on. Did you know this?
Late at night when all the world is sleeping,
I stay up and think of you.
And I look on a star, and somewhere you are thinking of me too. This is your part.
Oh my God. And I'm dreaming of you tonight till tomorrow. I'll be holding you tight, and there's nowhere in the world I'd rather be than here in my room, dreaming about you and me. Oh my God, I'm seriously tearing up right now.
That's absolutely incredible.
That brought me back to that little girl. Oh my goodness. Wow. And I have not sang that song in a long time.
Well, you picked it up really easily.
Oh my gosh, my dad's gonna freak out. Both my parents are gonna be like, we haven't heard you really sing that song since I was a little girl. Anyway, thanks for doing that.
No, what are you talking about?
Oh man. Oh my goodness. You said this was gonna be my favorite interview, and it already is.
Well, I gotta say this, so I'll give you a second. If you need me to grab you you want me to grab you?
No, I'm good.
I'm
good. That just that was really sweet. Thank you.
So So growing up in South Texas, in San Antonio, Texas, I'm not sure. I have a lot of people that watch the show and they're from South Texas and they know how important Selena is in the culture, and I'm Latino. And that movie, I think of my sister. Yeah, you're gonna make me cry. Stop. Stop.
Okay, I'm not doing anything. We're emotional
don't
today.
see me ever cry. So
We're emotional today. Selena makes me
no.
emotional.
So my sister would sing it and bother me and my brother. So when I saw you talk about it, it brought me back to my sister, who's, you know, she's killing it. She's doing great in South Texas.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, when I heard you talk to Charlie about dreaming of you and bothering your brothers and your siblings, it's just like there's and we were worlds apart.
That's crazy.
But we grew up at the same time because we're the same age.
Same age. Yeah, that's wild.
Talk to me about your favorite Selena. Is it the movie? Is it the Netflix? What is it?
So it was the movie with Jennifer Lopez was like my first, because I was, you know, as a kid, I was watching movies, you know. And so I remember watching that over and over and over again. And then my parents bought me her CDs. And so then I was really like in with my boombox. Throwback to the 90s.
Oh yeah.
I was in my bedroom playing her songs, and actually I learned Beady Beady Bum Bum. That was the first song I really recorded, I think, because it was in middle school. And I asked my Spanish teacher, I said, for my Spanish project, instead of like writing like something in Spanish, can I just sing something in Spanish as like to practice my Spanish? And she was like, okay. And I don't think she expected me to bring this like CD that I went to a studio. My dad like found somebody to record me sing Beady Beady Bum Bum. And I brought it in and was like, this is me singing in Spanish. And I got an A+. So it was great. But anyway, that movie, that scene where she's with her sister up on the roof and she's looking up at the moon and she says, I'm looking up at the stars and I'm dreaming. And I think it was the first time that I was like, I want to do that, you know, like that makes me feel something, like that dream that she had, and that then her working so hard at it and then being on stage and that feeling that she gets on stage. And because I felt that. And so anyway, the movie had a big impact on me, but then all of her records and then just her story. I mean, you know, then you kind of dive deeper into the story and I mean, it's tragic. But just what she did.
That movie, I love Dreaming of You, and that movie totally ruined that song for me.
Why?
Because I think of someone passing.
Right.
And at the movie in Selena with Jennifer Lopez, it's the scene of her, you know, passing. And that is the saddest thing. So when I think of Dreaming of You, I think of a moment of someone passing. So I actually never play that song. I never play that song. I'll usually play Forbidden Love or something. So that's what usually gets me going. But when I heard that was the song that you were singing, I thought that was amazing. But
that's crazy.
You know, we're going to dive back into your
We could talk about this forever. Yeah.
But we need to take a quick break in the video, thank the sponsors of this video, and we'll be right back with Grace right after this. This episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. The new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLDS20 for 20% off plus free shipping today. So another thing I was wondering is going back in time, going back to your American Idol days, when you were performing, I'm guessing that must have been some of the biggest crowds you ever performed to.
Yes.
Right? But I'm curious to know, what was that experience like to finally get an opportunity? Because you did it here in Nashville, right? You were here in Nashville when you did the whole audition, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I was living in Nashville. I had been here for like 2 years, almost 2 years, and I was working a sales job. So I was making hundreds of calls a day. I was in a cubicle, not loving my life. I remember like I would call my dad like every morning on the way to work at like 6:30 in the morning. And I'd be driving over on 40, getting off on the Nissan exit on Shelby. And so as you're getting off that exit from West Nashville, you know, you have all of downtown, that beautiful view.
Skyline.
And I would see it being like, you know, you just kind of shake your head like, I just want to do music full time. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to spend 8 hours a day in this cubicle. And I just like knew there was more, and I just had moved to Nashville with these big goals and dreams. And the biggest goal was, to quit my sales job and do music full time. I auditioned for Idol the year before the year that I went all the way to top 10, and I didn't get through the first round. So, and I remember I did that audition, showed up in front of the producers, and they just said, "We'll let you know." And I remember being so devastated, and I remember being like, I'm just not good enough. Like, it's just, and then they reached out again the year after, and they said, "Hey, we'd love to have you audition." And I was like, "Well, I auditioned last year. I don't know why." Then the producer called me and was like, "I know you auditioned last year, but it's a show. So like, we never know. You might have just not been, we had too many country people or too many Nashville people." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I guess it's a show. I'll do it again." And it changed my life. So yeah.
I mean, there's so many things to talk about in that, but when we talk about those nerves, right? Being in front of a panel, receiving, getting that golden ticket, going to a location. Have you ever been, did they film it out in LA too, right?
Yeah. So the first audition I did is the producer round in Nashville. And then the one in front of the judges, Katie, Lionel, and Luke, was in Milwaukee. And I actually lied to my job. I said I was sick. And because Kyle and I had to drive through the night to get to Milwaukee because he had a gig at Acme.
Wow.
Yeah. And there were like no flights. Like, it was like going to be too hard to fly in. We had to be in Milwaukee the next morning at like 9 a.m. And so I said, "Okay, well, let's just drive through the night." So I picked him up after his gig at like midnight or whatever when he got done. And we hit the road from Nashville to Milwaukee. And I remember like the sun coming up as we're like getting close. And I remember I wanted to turn around. I was like, "I don't want to do this. Like, they're going to say no, I'm not going to make it through. Why did we leave Nashville? Like, I'm comfortable there. We're doing the thing there. I don't need to do this show." I just remember coming up with like every excuse in the book to not.
While you're driving.
While we're driving. It was Kyle's shift. I'm in the passenger seat, basically just having like a panic attack. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Let's turn around. And he was the one to say, and I also like talked to my brother, I think too. And thankfully I had a lot of great people encouraging me. And Kyle was like, "I'm not turning around. You're going to do this. It's going to be great. Like, you're amazing." Shout out Kyle. We love Kyle.
And it's important because you talked about it, right? And being an athlete, especially in Division I, there's people with so many different skills.
Yeah.
Some are faster than you. Some have better handling skills than you. Some are better finishers. I'm curious to know which one would you say you excel in?
I was a forward my whole life.
Okay, so you're
quick, very like tenacious. Just wanted to score goals. And just worked really, really hard. Like, would not stop.
And that's the same way in music.
Yeah.
Because especially when you play these writers rounds where you're sitting around your peers, that some of them have some know how to work a crowd really well. I saw Demps the other day, and my gosh, he knows how to work a crowd.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible to see different skill sets. But bringing it back to Idol, and this was in 2020.
It's 2019.
2019,
yeah.
But when it was aired, it was in 2020?
Yes.
Okay, now I want to bring this question up to you because 2020, we were all locked inside. We were not able to go while this was going on. Do you feel like that made your experience on Idol and being showcased made your fan base feel even tighter than majority other fan base on other seasons?
Yeah, I think the COVID year, it had its good and bad, and the story basically is half of my season was normal life. So that first audition, and to quickly finish that story, I did audition. And I did get to Hollywood, and it was the best day of my life. And then I knew my life was going to change because there was something in that room, and the things that like Katie said and Luke said that were finally validating. And if you watch that audition, I'm so emotional because it was that fear and that self-doubt. And then to finally get the validation of like, no, you're supposed to do this, and you moved to Nashville for a reason, and you're chasing this dream that you've had since singing Selena at 6 years old, and you're doing it, and you're meant to do this. So that was so validating in itself. And then the rest of the show, all the way up until the live shows, we did go to LA, and we're all in LA getting ready to shoot the live shows. we're hearing grumblings about COVID. We don't really know what it is. And then they send us home. So doing the show from home, I ended up doing it at my mom's because she's in California. And I was like, I'm not going to go back all the way back to Nashville. No one knows how long this is going to last.
Yeah, seriously.
How long we're going to be stuck inside. So I went to my mom's, and that's why I filmed my top 20 and my top 10 performance literally in front of her shed in the backyard. And to what you were asking about like the fan base, it was one of those things where I am, and if anybody has seen, and you've said you've seen my live show, that's where I fell in love with music. So having an audience and not having an audience during the COVID time on Idol was really hard. It was mentally hard because you're not feeding off the energy from people in the crowd. You're not trying to like be showy, and you can't stomp around a stage, and all the glam was kind of taken out of it. And I had to mentally say, okay, if I were to play a soccer game and the field was crappy and it was pouring down rain and there were no fans in the stands, I'd still give it my all, right? I still would try to win, and I'd try to play the game like I know how to play it. So I kind of had to mentally do the same thing in terms of performance. And then we all on that show, every season I think leans into social media, but that's when I really built my community. Like you're saying, like I think people, they also wanted something. It was a hard time for everybody. It was hard. People were sick. People were dying. It was scary. And I think Idol staying on TV and bringing, music to people's homes and something to watch with your families. And I think I looked at it as a positive in that way too. Like I get to be something people can look forward to every week for however many weeks we were on. And and kind of bring light and joy into like this really scary time that was the pandemic.
Well, it's sad to know that that's what happened in the story and how, everything's shifted, right?
Yeah.
And I always wondered this, and I'm not sure if it was the same because your season was a little different, but do you guys get paid or per diem at least when you guys are at the show, when you guys are filming and everything? Did you guys get a per diem at least?
A long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume because
I mean, because they know, especially, I think when we got to live shows too, and then COVID happened, it was weird. But when you get to live shows, because you're leaving like whatever job you have, and because people do have like regular jobs that are going on and doing the show, they do kind of supplement that and make sure you're being taken care of.
When we were talking about the competitiveness, one of the songs that you have out right now, which is How Do You Like Me Now?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. When you talk about competitiveness, I resonated. I was listening to it in the gym yesterday, and I was like, wow, she is literally making this song, which is a cover, into your own.
Thank you.
And it made it sound so much like it. I felt like that was my story that I was living through you.
I love
so
that.
Talk to me about that competitiveness that you say in that song.
I'm not competitive at all.
Yeah,
not
right.
at all. I am very competitive, but no. So, Toby Keith, of course, legend, icon that we lost. He was someone I listened to a lot growing up, and all 90s country to me was something that was a huge influence on me. And How Do You Like Me Now? I would listen to it all the time, and I would like listen to it when I was like driving in my hometown, and I'd be, I don't know, like his version is very much like about this girl and about like her not wanting him. I always listen to the chorus and especially the part where living in your radio, as like that felt to me, my interpretation was these are people that doubt me, that I'm gonna move to Nashville and achieve these goals and chase these dreams and make something out of my life. And I always looked at that song as my kind of like,
How do you like me now?
Yeah, like I did it, and and look at me now, and I'm proud, and I because there's a lot of people that, oh my gosh, the amount of, and us artists, and I'm sure you have people like that love to talk about the people that say like, oh, how's that music thing going? Or like, how, oh, wow, Nashville. Wow. Well, good luck. And it's like this kind of like,
they don't think that it's a real job.
No.
the amount of work it is to not only build your name, your brand, create music out of thin air.
Yeah.
This show is created out of thin air, and then you guys get to watch. It's crazy to think that there's a lot of people that don't have that side, right? They don't see it that way. They like having things a little bit more structured. When we talk about being creative, it's not very structured.
Yeah.
It's what you make out of it. So with that song, what I love that you made out of it was all about that ambition within you. Say, how do you like me now?
Yeah.
Now I'm playing in the radio. I remember when I was in the 50-yard line, right?
Yeah.
And I put your name down.
Yeah.
And you didn't even look at me. And now I'm in the radio. Your life turned into that side of the folks that doubted me, that like that stability, which is great.
Yeah.
But you have to listen to me now.
Yeah. Exactly.
I thought that was such a great song.
Thank you. And yeah, and it's, and I want it to be like, you listening in the gym makes me so happy. Or I want that to be for other dreamers like us that, that feel that same way and want to prove something and want to, prove people wrong. And I don't think that's bad to want that. It doesn't mean that it's about them or anything. It's using that doubt as fuel and fire and motivation to like keep you going. And it's just another thing to keep. Yeah. I want people to hear that. And I wanted to create that version, not only to honor and pay homage to Toby Keith, the great Toby Keith, but also just give it another point of view.
Are you driven by rejection?
Oh, yeah.
Outside of the Idol, the first time, what's been one rejection that you've gotten here in town that just kind of still drives you today?
I mean, it kind of happens left and right. I think it's like a lot of stuff you see on social media. So I think you see, that person is going on the road with that artist. Like, why didn't I get considered for that? Or, that person is playing CMA Fest on this stage this year, and why am I not playing that stage?
I look at it the same way.
Yeah, it's just kind of the you just compare, and I think it's easy to do that. But going back to what I learned with rejection and using it as fuel is like, when my coach would do that, my brother would say, okay, Grace, if you only get 2 minutes, prove that you should be a starter in those 2 minutes. Use those minutes to prove yourself. And when you were talking about being angry or happy, like, I use it as like, okay, if you think that I shouldn't play that show, well, I'm going to go and do this and prove you wrong, kind of thing. Or, when I remember the team a couple years ago, who I was working with was like, well, none of your songs are going viral and none of your songs are, you really don't have the right social media numbers. And so there's not really much we can do. And I was like, okay. And so like, boom, My Mind's Made Up was like my first one to hit like hundreds and thousands of views overnight. And then Best Friend for Life and even How Do You Like Me Now had a lot of like consistency, and I've built my numbers like pretty significantly. And I'm very proud of that. So that's an example of tell me I can't do something and I'm going to prove you wrong.
And that head down mentality.
Yeah. I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to feel bad for myself, but I'm going to use that as fuel to, number one, prove you wrong, and number two, get to the next level. There's
so many no's that you get in Nashville.
Yep.
And you just got to learn to take that no, take it on the chin. It's not now, it's later.
Totally.
And it turns out to be good. And going back to CMA Fest, the irony of you bringing that up is because I think everyone's dropping when they're playing today.
Yeah.
So, but I also saw there was a lot of people that went from other stages to lower stages. Did you notice that too?
No, I haven't really looked into it.
I looked at it today.
Okay.
And I was surprised that there were certain artists that were playing in some stages. Like actually Shabuzi's a great example of this. So Shabuzi last year, I think, played a few stages, but they weren't the big stage. It was maybe it was the one by...
it was the Chevy Vibe stage.
The Chevy Vibe.
Because I went to that and you couldn't even move.
Yes. And so rightfully so, he's now playing the stadium. Rightfully so. But it's crazy to see that he jumped like 4 stages.
Totally.
But he deserves it. Shout out to Shabuzi.
Love Shabuzi.
Now, real quick, before we, I got to take another quick break here. I want to talk about Best Friends for Life. Yeah. And then I want to check out this cookbook you got over here that you brought. So we'll take another quick break and we'll be right back with Grace right after this. Oh, I didn't see you guys there. Hey, if you're enjoying the content that we provide, please consider subscribing to our Heart of the Gulch YouTube show. Hit the subscribe button that's right in front of you, or hit the Heart of the Gulch logo over here in the corner. And of course, like magic, hit the recommended subscribe button that's over here in the banner. We would love to have you guys here at the Heart of the Gulch YouTube channel, and let's get you back onto that interview right now. Best friend for life. Mm-hmm. It is one of those, man, you just make a lot of like strong written songs that hit a lot of different emotions.
Yeah.
Because, man, I was listening to that song at the gym too. And I was just like, wow, you really put yourself out there and you made yourself just vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And the whole world saw it. Yeah. Talk to me about what that was like to feel the adrenaline of everyone hearing this story and relating to this story.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very unexpected moment. I had written Best Friend for Life for my best friend, Steph. We've been best friends since we were 6 years old, 6 or 7, in first grade. And I was her maid of honor at the wedding and knew that I wanted to write her a song as part of my maid of honor speech. And I did actually look for songs. I was like, what are some songs that kind of explain like how this feels for your best friend to get married and how special that day is and how amazing that is? And I couldn't find one. So I reached out to 2 of my favorite female writers, Zarni DeVette and Robin Collins. And I said, guys, can we write this song? Like, I have this, it's just going to be for my best friend. I don't know if I'll release it, but I just think this is a kind of a really cool concept. And I want to tell her story, our story, her love story with her husband, Gus. And I want to surprise her with it at the wedding. And they were like, absolutely, let's do this. It sounds great. And so Zarni was able to make just kind of like a little demo that I was able to give to Steph and Gus as like a present after I sang it. They had no idea that I was singing it. Absolutely no idea. I remember being so nervous that day because not only was I maid of honor and making sure like she looked perfect and everything was perfect and that I didn't cry. Well, I do cry. Not in the video that went viral, but I do cry when I get to the bridge of the song at the wedding performing it. I did cry a little bit and then I got choked up. And she cried at that point too. But anyway, I didn't expect it to reach so many people. And it's been just so amazing for that because not only is it such a special thing between me and Steph, but I've now my song is now a part of just someone's biggest day of their life, getting married. And it's so sweet to see. I've seen people sing it for, I released the instrumental for that reason, because I want people to sing it for their best friend or for their mom or whatever. And it's so beautiful to see. I get messages all the time. Like, my bridesmaids are walking down to your acoustic version of Best Friend for Life, or I'm singing it. I'm going to change the lyrics to match her story. And, it's just so sweet that it has just reached so many people.
Has someone flown you out yet?
Not yet. Okay,
we're manifesting that.
We're manifesting that. And I always say, like, we've gotten a lot of emails about me performing it at weddings. And I always say, yes, just send me the dates and the details. I swear it is just like not worked out. I'm either, you know how musicians are.
Musicians are busy.
Very busy. But I would be happy to do that. And I think it's just so cool. I just never expected it.
Well, first off, shout out to Steph. And I want to know, what's Steph better at than you are?
School.
What?
She's so smart.
You went to Berkeley.
Yeah, but I had a soccer scholarship and that helped a little bit. My whole life, like, we grew up together, and she was my friend that would like help me. I remember, I think it was in middle school, she'll laugh at this. She made me flashcards because math, and I don't know, maybe it's because we're creatives, like numbers for me are just like, don't ask me numbers. And they were like geography, like, don't get me started. And she was like the brainiac in our friend group, and just like was so good at school. So just like really
Same college?
Good. No, she went to TCU. It's Texas. There you go.
Ah.
Yeah. And no, she is. And now she's like this big, I don't know, partner in AI, and she's amazing. But yeah, she's kind of like, if you put us like trivia, she would kick my butt. She's so smart.
Speaking of numbers, do you happen to know the totality of all those numbers of the
Best Friend for Life?
Of Best Friend for Life from all socials?
No.
What do you think it is at? Because I saw what it's like on YouTube. Well, the
big one, the music video.
Well, I
haven't looked at that in a while, but the music video, I was so proud. It was like #1 on Vivo country music video charts like the week it came out, which was so cool. But no, the one that went the most viral was like, I think it's like 7.8 million. And yeah, I would say.
Was that TikTok?
TikTok, yeah.
Dude, the fact that you got
Instagram,
that much is
4
crazy.
million. I would say between Instagram, TikTok, and maybe Facebook, I would say well over 15 million.
Well, that's not including YouTube at 6.5 right now.
6.5 is the music video?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's
crazy.
It goes down. Yeah, shout out to that.
Go, yay, best friend for life.
It's first of all, I love the logo. I love the album cover because it's one of those album covers where I think anyone who grew up with someone for a long period of time truly understand as much as we have a partner, we had us first.
Yeah.
Just like our family.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that a lot of your visuals do that. They're really deep meaning. So
thank you.
I'm guessing there's a lot of people because you released your self-titled EP in 2022. Yep. So I'm wondering, is there going to be an album? What are you in the works towards?
Yes, we're in the works towards an album for sure. I have been sitting on so many songs, and now that I'm independent, it's exciting because it's, we all are CEOs of our own business, every artist, whether you have a label or not. So now, I mean, it's really just coming down to like self-funding everything and figuring out how to do that, finding the right partners. And, I want this album to be what you were just saying about my music. I don't know how to write or create that doesn't come from my experience, and I love like the Kelsey Ballerinis of the world and the Carly Pierces of the world that do the same thing. They are writing what they're going through. And even though right now I'm in a very happy, loving relationship, I've been through the heartbreak. And so that stuff is still very real. And I have those songs for sure. The next song that I'm working on as a teaser is actually, I feel like people are going to start to hear things from me that they also haven't heard sonically. Wine and Whiskey is kind of one of those first songs that it is a little bit more edgy production wise. It is a little bit more mainstream country, especially compared to my debut EP. So I'm excited for like just kind of some newness and I'm evolving like we all do as artists and people and as a songwriter. And so, yeah, I think people can expect a lot more music, definitely an album. Don't know when. It's always like, oh, like obviously I want it as soon as possible, but it's not something to take lightly.
Your Hallmark
I've even had
moment?
Hallmark moment.
Wait, we're talking about that. Hold on. Riley Wheeler?
Riley Wheeler. That was me.
Where did they come up with that name?
I don't know, but it's a cute name.
It's a really cute name.
I know.
And you had your song, your Christmas song on that same Hallmark video.
Yes.
What was it like to be a Hallmark star? Because I was just talking to Neil Orn, who's going to be a Hallmark star coming up. Yes.
That's amazing.
What's it like to be a Hallmark person?
It's really fun. So that was my first time ever acting, and I had no idea really what I was doing, but I loved it. Like absolutely loved it. I want to do more of it. Hoping to do more of it this year, and it was so fun. I mean, Hallmark, they're amazing to work with. I couldn't say better things about just them as people and the whole experience. And then working with Chris Carmack, Shanae Grimes just took me under my wing and taught me so much. And it was funny because Shanae would be like, I don't really sing, so you can like help me sing, because she was like the vocal teacher in the movie. And I was like, well, this is my first time acting, so help me be an actress in front of this camera. And I loved it too because it was so out of my comfort zone. And I'm always striving for that. Acting was totally one of those things that was so new for me. And learning the lines was really easy because it's like memorizing a song. But it was everything else that was so just like interesting to get used to.
Because people don't realize that when you're doing a scene, right, you are trying to build a moment in a story, but at the same time, the person that's watching this right now has no idea that there's cameras there. They're just seeing what the story, but you're seeing lights, camera, action, understanding movement from the camera to the I mean,
it's a lot. It was a lot. And then the other thing, one of my roles too was I was someone who was developing the story Like I was the character that was kind of telling people what was like going to happen. Like there were moments where the director, Allie, would say, you know, Grace, you already know that Chris and Shanae are going to end up together. The audience doesn't know that, but you want to give them a hint. So all you're doing, you might not be saying anything in this scene, but your facial expression says everything.
Is that the Hallmark cheese? Is that like what is that? Yeah.
We love the Hallmark cheese.
It's one of those things where you're watching a Hallmark movie because it's still solid actors and actresses, but there's something about a Hallmark.
Cheesy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Speaking of cheesy, I'm not sure if you have any cheese in here, but we got your cookbook.
Yes.
Well, it's a digital cookbook that you got, but you were nice enough to bring me your
printed
Taste with Grace.
Taste with Grace.
This came out during your EP in 2022. Now, I'm curious. You must have some of your favorite recipes in here, right?
Yeah.
Just what's your first, off the top of your mind, what's your first favorite
Probably
recipe?
my first one. Well, so what I did is if you open the table of contents, I have an intro, and then I gave each song a recipe. So that's what the cookbook is. Yep. So each song has a recipe. I'm pretty sure Meant to Be is my bolognese.
Yes, it is.
That's probably my favorite one. That's my sister's recipe, and it's so good. And I'm a huge Italian fan. So anything pasta, red sauce to go with my red wine is probably my favorite. But my other favorite, just because I thought it was really, and when you talk about like kind of, I'm very like detailed and everything has a meaning. The Brought a Girl curry chicken pasta salad. That's a pasta salad I grew up, my mom made us at every gathering, like soccer party, birthday party, summer, whatever, always this curry chicken pasta salad. It's so good. But Brought a Girl, is a true story. Very, very true story. And it's, I was throwing a party, nothing formal, nothing rowdy. And this guy I really liked, was so excited to see him. And he brought a girl to the party. Well, that party that I actually threw, I did in fact make the curry chicken pasta salad for that party.
And you filmed it inside that home. The
music video is the home where the party happened. It's the same guy that the song is about.
You're so detailed.
I know.
It's kind of scary.
It's gotta be real. It's gotta be as authentic and real as possible. But yeah, those are probably my two favorite.
Well, athletes love to eat.
We do.
Now, another thing is, since you said you're detail oriented, I want to flip the script on you.
Okay.
How well do you know your recipes in this book?
Oh man. I don't know.
Well,
I'm like a throw and go kind of gal.
You said you're a detail oriented.
I am.
So I just want to ask you a couple questions.
Like creatively detail oriented.
Let's see how you are with your own recipes.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with easy. Let's start with Meant to Be.
Oh, the bolognese.
Okay. Just give me 3 ingredients that are inside the bolognese.
Oh, okay. Well, ground beef, carrots, onion, garlic, celery, canned tomatoes, oregano, basil.
Okay, see, you got it.
I got that. If you were going to ask me amounts, that's where I was like, I'm not a chef. I'm a home chef that my boyfriend will be like, wow, how did you make that? I'm like, I have no idea.
Okay, well, how about this?
Okay.
You got a recipe called The One.
Yeah.
Okay, but what do you need for The One? You have it under here. What do you need? And it's 4 things. What do you need?
Okay, well, I know it's the filthy martini with blue cheese olives.
You get in there, and then right under that says, what do you need?
Is it the ingredients or what do you need
Not
to
the
make?
ingredients.
Okay,
it's
well,
literally
you need
called, what do you need?
You need a shaker.
Yeah, you got it.
You need a martini glass.
You got it.
You need you need ice.
Okay, not one of them on the list. You got 2 more. You got those 2.
Shaker. Shaker, martini glass. You need a jig.
Yes.
Okay.
You got 1 more.
And then, is it the blue cheese olives, or do I say a skewer to put the blue cheese olives on? No. Wait.
You got it. Come on.
You need a shaker, ice.
You mentioned it.
I did?
Yes.
Jig, shaker. Is it the skewer to put the blue cheese olives on?
It's a toothpick.
A toothpick.
You
okay.
got it.
Oh my
You got
gosh. It's like I haven't read the book in so long.
I know. That's why I wanted to ask.
That's funny.
I'm not going to make you do them all.
That is a yummy dirty martini though.
But I'm very impressed that you're able to incorporate your music, give it a story and then create something that you love to create, which is food.
Love it.
What's
Love
one
cooking.
what's one thing that you wish that you, looking back at it now, what's one recipe that you wish that you put into this?
Ooh, man. I've like, there's a lot of different things that I make now that I wasn't making back then. I do have pizza in there. That's
You do have pizza. You got to have the main ingredients, right?
I know. Oh, probably like, gosh, what do I make a lot now?
Something you just wish, you're like, dang, if I would go back, I would totally put this in this cookbook.
I spent a lot of time on that cookbook. I would maybe like a margarita. Like I'd probably maybe put another cocktail in there because I think I drink more like margaritas or, I mean, obviously still wine and stuff like that. But yeah, I probably do. Like I make a really good skinny margarita.
Wait, so are we saying possibly one day you may make a recipe book for drinks?
Oh, that could be fun. That could be really fun. I know I want to make, this has started obviously a tradition. So when I talk about, you know, an album is coming, that will be another cookbook. And you better believe each song will have a recipe to it. And I think that's just it's so fun for me. And I just think, you know, everybody eats.
100%.
So
and do a lot of other things too. Now, I'm going to leave you my last two questions here. But before I do these last two questions, going back to the cookbook, if you had to make a drink, like a recipe for a drink, I'm going to name you your song titles and tell me what type of drink would work on it. So wine and whiskey. What type of drink is that?
Old fashioned.
Old fashioned. Okay. How do you like me now?
Ooh, that would just be like a Coors Light.
Really?
Yes. It would just be like a dive bar beer or like a Miller High Life. Like, I really don't think it'd be anything fancy. It would just be like, cheers to you.
Run, Rudolph.
Ooh. Oh, probably a peppermint espresso martini.
Ooh, come on now.
That's what I make at Christmas time.
I love that. Now, last one, best friend for life.
Oh, probably like, that'd probably be like a margarita, which Stephanie and I, that's like our thing. We love like skinny margaritas.
May 5th is coming up.
Yeah.
And that is big margarita season.
That's right.
All right, now my last two
Now I
questions
need a
on the
song
show.
with like margaritas and tequila in it.
You're hearing it here first. So it's my last two questions. These guys know I ask it all the time.
Okay.
It has to do with imposter syndrome. Because I think a lot of people that are creatives and non-creatives too, and just doing their job, everyone has imposter syndrome and have these voices in their heads of saying, you can't do something, you shouldn't do something, don't take the leap. You know, what has kept you going, not listening to all the voices, kind of toning down that imposter syndrome to continue going after your goals? And what could you do? What advice could you give the people watching this to not let that imposter syndrome overtake them?
Because of my athletic background, Alona Mar, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Alona Mar, I follow her on Instagram. She was USA Rugby Olympic medalist. She was in an interview and she was like, I don't believe in imposter syndrome. I just think I loved what she said about it. I don't remember it specifically, but it hit me because we deserve it. And I think that's something I try to remind myself, you know, why should we be surprised to achieve something, win something, get the acknowledgement that we've worked really hard for our whole life? And I think there's definitely moments where I'm like, whoa, you know, oh my gosh, American Idol top 10 or a Hallmark movie. I'm like, who am I? How am I about on a plane right now going to film a Hallmark movie? Like, yeah, there's those moments, but I think it's important it's okay to be proud of yourself and it's okay to feel like you do deserve it. And, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Does that answer the question?
No, absolutely. It's all about like we've been saying this whole time, keeping your head down, and these compound effects, these compound interests will add up and you'll start to see some amazing things happen. Yeah. And
be proud of it and celebrate it, small and big. Like every time I just even release a song, you know, my boyfriend and I'll have like a little dinner, a little champagne to celebrate. And it's so important because it's not just celebrating when my song goes viral or, you know, if I get on this like big headlining show, you know, these are all stepping stones to what we're chasing. And it's important to celebrate along the way.
speaking of stepping stones, my last question of the interview is 2025. What are some goals you got in 2025? Hopefully, you've already played the Grand Ole Opry?
No.
Okay, that's
huge goal of mine.
Give me some goals for 2025. What are you looking forward to the most this year?
Goals of 2025. Definitely album, creating and hopefully releasing my debut album, Grand Ole Opry debut. 2025 specifically, because I got a lot of goals in general.
Just give me some goals. Come on.
Grand Ole Opry debut, releasing an album, building, honestly, as silly as it sounds for socials, I think my goal, if I wrote it down at the beginning of the year, I think I want to get to 500,000 followers on TikTok. And that just means building my community there. I also have a really crazy goal. And I don't know when this is airing, but I want to be,
because I loved how it was.
I am auditioning and we'll see if it happens, but I want to be a rookie with Sports Illustrated swimsuit models.
Dude,
she's crazy. She's crazy.
Damn, that's a dope goal.
It's a big goal, and I have had it written down for a long time, and I finally took the jump, and I'm submitting an audition, so we'll see what happens.
Wait, what does an audition like that
You just turn in a video of
just you in a bikini?
And telling your story and like why you want to be a part of Sports Illustrated swimsuit.
Why, as a guy, the first thing I say is like, oh, in a bikini.
Well, yes, basically, yes. But no, I mean, and that just means, I guess I could say, if we don't want to put that in, like just continuing to step out of my comfort zone and constantly asking myself, like, what else can I do that excites me and, makes me feel creative. And I would love to do another movie, whether that's Hallmark or anything. Like, just another goal of mine would be to do more acting.
Wow. Have you had an IMDb yet?
I got it up.
Dude, let's go.
It's there. Riley Wheeler.
Well, so the way that we tee off your Walk the Line segment, I'm super excited to see what you perform here in the studio here. You look straight into that camera right there. You say your name, not Riley Wheeler. And you say, this is how I walk the line. And then we'll transition to that song. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. After the applause here.
Hey, I'm Grace Leer, and this is how I walk the line.
Feeling kind of stupid. Don't know why we always do this. It always hurts in the morning. Kiss your lips and I lose it. It's like you know when I'm drinking red and Weller's on your breath. Already know the answer. With you it's always yes. Easy to blur the lines and blow past the warning signs. Hell with the consequences when I'm drowning in your eyes. You burn all the way down and I leave a pretty taste in your mouth, so good that it makes you miss me. No cuss, straight 50-50. Hell of a hangover's gonna hit me. Mixing wine and whiskey. Don't know when it's gonna happen, but I know it's gonna happen. We'll say it's innocent, but we both know that we're lying. Saying sparks won't start no fire. One drink might as well be gasoline and a lighter, 'cause you burn all the way down and I leave a pretty taste in your mouth, so good that it makes you miss me. No cuss, straight 50-50. Hell of a hangover's gonna hit me, hit me, hit me. So burn me all the way down. Good thing this town ain't running out. So good that it makes you miss me. No cuss, straight 50-50. Hell of a hangover's gonna hit me. Mixing wine and whiskey. Mixing wine and whiskey. Whiskey and wine. You burn all the way down and I leave a pretty taste in your mouth, so good that it makes you miss me. No cuss, straight 50-50. Hell of a hangover's gonna hit me. Mixing wine and whiskey.